Hello lads and lasses, welcome again to the channel. So for today's video we are going to test these two models on my back garden small crawler course. This was an idea I had yesterday to start testing and comparing some of my FMS models. So for the purpose of the video we'll call this the old Land Cruiser and this one the new Land Cruiser. So in terms of, I'm not going to go too much through the specs of each because you can find that on other videos, much more detailed than my video today, and that's not the purpose of today's video. The purpose of today's video is to try and see if the old model can keep up with the new model. We all know that the new model is far better than the old model. I'll explain why, a couple of differences, major differences pretty much, but we want to see if this can still keep up with this one. So transmitters are basically the same. The old model is based on what I believe to be a shared metal chassis from other FMS models. There's nothing special about this. It has normal spring shocks, so it's not oil filled, so it's very bouncy. It's one of the problems of the older FMS models that everyone seems to complain about. I personally don't mind, because when doing the videos, the normal springs, when doing the videos, makes it look a bit more realistic than the oil shocks. However, having said that, the oil shocks are far better in terms of performance. The chassis for this one is based on the FCX18, but elongated pretty much, with metal links, 2-speed gearbox, 180 motor, and a chassis mounted servo, whereas this is a body mounted servo. I think this is the first major difference, the chassis. The second major difference is the oil shocks. This comes with oil shocks. This has normal spring-loaded shocks, and obviously this has a 2-speed gearbox, and this has just the normal one gear. Having said that, the electronics on the combined ESC and receiver is actually quite good, so you do get very low modulation. However, I don't believe the old model can be compared to the new model, as the new model has a 2-speed gearbox. So in terms of low-end modulation, this is far better. The new one is far better than the older one. But again, we'll see on the back garden crawler course if the old model can keep up with the new model. Hello again. So this is going to be our first obstacle, where we're going to test the old against the new version. So both of them are completely stock, with stock wheels, stock tires. All of the back garden track is damp, wet, because it's been raining a lot lately. So that will add an extra layer of challenge, because some of the obstacles I have are made of timber. So I'm sure that they are very, very slippery. So let's start with the old Land Cruiser version and see how it goes. And now that's pretty much as low as you can go in terms of modulation on this one. So yeah, let's give it a go, see how it goes. Not exactly the line I wanted, but I have. Right, let's give it a go on the new model. interesting. Seems to be struggling a little bit. Maybe due to the higher center of gravity of this model, because it's the body sits quite higher than the old version due to the chassis and springs and portal axles. So what I'm noting at the moment is that the front wheels do not have any grip whatsoever. So it's quite interesting actually, because I would think that the new model, yes, it's very slippery, but I would, if the new model went up with no struggle, I would have assumed that this would have gone up with no struggle whatsoever, but front wheels seem to have no grip whatsoever. Right, we can try and get a different line. There you go. Just needed a bit of throttle. There we go. Quite easy. Again, portal axles. So the ground clearance is bigger than the older version, or higher. And that's our first obstacle done. Let's go to the second one. This will be our second obstacle. In all fairness, there's no right way of going around the track. It's yeah, it's quite, I make it as I go, to be honest. So we'll do the second obstacle and see how they both perform. So we're going to try and go through two different sets of goals here. That one. And in all fairness, the old model is actually quite good. One of the best FMS models. 1/18 scale, that is. Oops, there you go. Whoopsie. So the bits of timber are quite slippery, so we'll have to give it a go one more time, see if it goes up or not. There we go. Ooh, no. Just want to fall again. There we go. So in terms of tyre grip, I'll be honest, the new Land Cruiser comes with what seems to be the same type of tyre, terrace tyres, but FMS says they are 30% softer, of a softer compound, so it will probably make a difference in terms of grip. As you've seen, the old version tyres struggled a bit more to go up that little ramp than the new version, so that may be the difference between the old compound and the new compound of tyres. Let's go to our third obstacle. Welcome to our third obstacle of the course. The old version will go first. Let's see how it performs. Right. So because the older version has a lower center of gravity and the height ground clearance is less than the new version, it struggles with bigger obstacles underneath the chassis, such as that sort of rocks that I've placed there on purpose. Let's see. There you go. It went in the end. And that's one of the negative effects of the low ground clearance on the older version. It gets stuck very easily. We'll give it a try on the new Land Cruiser. Higher centre of gravity means that it may not necessarily, it goes with ease. Because it has a higher ground clearance than the older version, so it doesn't get easily stuck, or as easy as the old version, with obstacles underneath the chassis. So this is our fourth obstacle, a few rocks and a goal. We'll see how the old version goes. Oops, got stuck, something underneath the chassis, and it flipped. Right, now the new model. So the new model, to be honest, goes over these rocks quite easily, and yeah, doesn't really get easily stuck with anything underneath the chassis due to its higher ground clearance. This is our fifth obstacle, and let's see how the old version stacks up. Not bad, to be honest. Now the new version. Quite easy. Two more obstacles to go. Let's see how this goes. You will probably notice that it easily scrapes underneath the chassis. See, the back wheels are already up, so that's the ground clearance, the low ground clearance of this model. But it does go over the obstacles quite easily. Now with the new model. Which has no problem whatsoever, apart from not going up. There you go. Took a bit of effort. This is our last obstacle, and probably the one that will put the old Land Cruiser most to the test. We'll see if it can even climb up that big concrete rock, and see if it gets to the end of that bridge. So there's the first challenge. The bumper gets stuck due to the low ground clearance of the model, which, you know, at the end of the day, none of these two models are fully fledged rock crawlers. They're more like trail trucks, and with this one you just need to find, for these sorts of obstacles, you need to find a bit of a better line. Yeah, it does struggle, but it does go. And there we have it. Right. Now with the new model, and the higher ground clearance will make a huge difference. There you go. Very easily. Very, very easily. You go very easily up the obstacle. And here we are. Hope you've enjoyed the tests. None of the tests, just a disclaimer, none of the tests were based on science. I'm not that type of person. I don't want to be that type of channel either. But when comparing the old version to the new version, there are obvious improvements on the newer version, such as the oil-filled shocks, softer tires, portal axles, a bigger, more powerful 180 motor, and a 2-speed gearbox, and that eventually will make a difference when compared to the old version. The old version has a less powerful, smaller motor. It only has one speed. The old tires, the old tires are quite soft, but they are not as soft as the new tires. So FMS says that they are 30% softer on the new model, so that will translate in a bit more grip on the standard tires. Obviously you can change wheels and tires and do all sorts of mods, but on their standard form, this is the new model improves on several aspects of the old model. Having said that, the old model has a lower center of gravity and a lower ground clearance, which is very good for steep angle obstacles where this may struggle, as we've seen on the first obstacle where the front tires lost grip. This one did not struggle that much when compared to the new model. So they're both good models, they're both good trucks. I think FMS has discontinued the older LC80 in order to prioritize this one. I'm very eager to see what FMS comes up with next on this new FCX18 chassis. So I'm hoping that they will come with other different models, this one just being the first to start with, so we'll have to wait and see. Yes, the new version, the new model of the Land Cruiser LC80 is better than the old model, but the old model is still very good at what it does. The electronics are still capable of very, very low-end modulation. So I can only assume that there's only very few obstacles that the new model will not be able to keep up with. The old model will not be able to keep up with the new model. But the problem is that FMS has discontinued this, so if anyone wants to get their hands on these, I'm assuming there will still be some stores selling whatever they've left on stock for these old models, but it will be far easier to get your hands on the new model. I hope you have enjoyed the comparison video. Next one, I'm not sure yet if I will compare these three trucks or the FCX24, the K5 with the Power Wagon, and then at some point I will be comparing the 12 scale, the three 12 scale trucks I have. So hopefully you've enjoyed. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio!